Deep within the heart of an ancient forest shrouded in mystery and veiled in shadow, a group of hikers embarks on an adventure. As they set foot into the untamed wilderness, a sense of exhilaration mingles with a creeping unease, as the unknown bears a tantalizing yet eerie allure. The forest greets them with its timeless splendor, every leaf stirring an almost mystical reverence within them. This is no ordinary forest, one that has stood witness to countless eons, whispering secrets of the past through the rustling of leaves and the groaning of ancient ghostly boughs. The hush of the woods carries an old-world aura, a silent symphony performed by the wind, punctuated by the chilling hum of a far-off stream. The towering trees, like skeletal hands, seem to reach for the heavens, their gnarled roots gnashing into the earth, embodying an age-old struggle between life and time. The hikers, driven by the thrill of discovery and the eternal human quest for the unknown, find themselves irresistibly drawn to go further into the heart of the forest, the sense of unease growing within them. Straying off their charted path, they are led on by the forest's enigmatic charm. Every rustle of a leaf, every snap of a twig underfoot becomes a beckoning call into the chilling unknown. The forest's dense canopy casts dappled shadows that dance with the shifting sunlight, creating an eerie spectacle that ensnares their senses. Suddenly they stumble upon an unexpected sight, a clearing, seemingly outplaced in this world untouched by human hands. The clearing is an anomaly, a scar on the face of the wilderness, and yet it possesses a serene beauty that sends shivers down their spines. Its existence stirs their curiosity, kindling the flames of their adventurous spirits. In the heart of this clearing lies a mystery, a silent testimony to the forest's untold stories. It whispers to them of a forgotten past, of history seeping into the very soil they stand on. The hikers feel a connection, a tie to the land that goes beyond the physical, a chilling bond that amplifies their growing unease. Venturing deeper, they navigate through the undergrowth, their hearts pounding in their chests like frantic drums. It is a feeling of anticipation and fear, yet they cannot turn back. The forest, in all its mysterious allure, calls to them a siren song that they cannot ignore. The hikers, in their pursuit of the unknown, find themselves standing at the edge of a spooky clearing, a place that didn't belong in the heart of the wilderness, exacerbating their sense of unease. In their innocence, they had stumbled upon a clandestine world, a secluded cult, thriving in this forgotten corner of the wilderness. The path they had taken, worn by numerous creatures of the forest, had led them to an unforeseen revelation, a secret society, teeming with life and flourishing in the concealed bower of the forest. This wasn't your everyday gathering. It was a congregation of ardent followers, their identities concealed behind uncanny masks that evoked both awe and terror. Each face bore a unique tale, and each mask was a token of loyalty to a cause that remained an enigma to the beholders. The cryptic assembly hummed chants pregnant with mystery and veneration. The hymns echoed throughout the towering trees, their haunting tones bouncing off the ancient bark, filling the air with an energy that was as captivating as it was chilling. The hikers, once brimming with a thrilling spirit of curiosity and exploration, were now overwhelmed by a chilling dread. It was an uneasiness that took root deep within their hearts, growing more potent with each passing second. Their eyes, wide in horror, were held captive by the cult's peculiar rituals, the ominous dances under the moonlight, the ceremonial burning of strange herbs, the incantations in an unknown tongue, their perplexing devotion, and the unseen deity they worshipped with such intense fervor. Their practices, their unflinching loyalty, everything indicated a complex, sinister motive. The hikers could sense the dark plan, a strategy so colossal that it threatened to ensnare them in its frigid grasp. It was as if they had wandered into a limbo, a space caught between the familiar world they knew and an archaic realm overflowing with obscurity. The sacred area they had inadvertently violated was overflowing with an ancient darkness that seemed to permeate their very souls. The energy there was tangible, raw, and overwhelmingly powerful. The air was drenched with an innate fear that clung to their skin, seeped into their clothing, and threatened to suffocate their very existence. They observed, immobilized, as the cult performed their sinister rituals, their bodies swaying in an eerie harmony, their voices rising and falling in a symphony of devotion and terror. As each ritual unfolded, the ceremonial drinking of a dark, viscous liquid, the rhythmic beating of ancient drums, the strange symbols drawn on the ground, the hikers were confronted with a bone-chilling truth that began to seep into their awareness. And as they bore witness to the cult's dark rituals, a horrifying realization took hold. They were not alone, not in this ancient, sacred, terrible place. The transformation of the once serene forest was chilling. What used to be an oasis of tranquility, echoing with the sounds of rustling leaves and chirping birds, had now metamorphosed into a living nightmare. Every calming whisper of the leaves had turned into a murmur. Each gust of wind carried the piercing screams of unseen terrors. The once welcoming woodland paths now contorted into a labyrinth of fear, each turn spiraling further into an abyss of uncertainty. The hikers, once entranced by the beauty of this wilderness, now stood terror-stricken, their hearts throbbing wildly as their eyes darted frantically, searching for an escape that seemed to recede further into the shadows. The hikers' attempts to break free from this grasp were frantic and desperate. Yet, every step they took seemed to draw them deeper into the forest's cruel embrace, closer to the unseen menace that was hungrily stalking them. The echo of their past deeds resonated loudly in the silence, invoking an ancient entity through their ritual under the moonless sky, had stirred a relentless darkness that was now awake and ravenous. As the minutes ticked away, the malevolent force was closing in. The hikers could sense its sinister intentions, the primal fear that reverberated through the air as they found themselves the prey in this deadly game of hunt. The omnipresent shadow seemed to grow darker, the air colder, and with every breath they took, the presence of the entity became more tangible. The forest was brimming with a palpable darkness that seeped into their souls, threatening to engulf them completely. They could hear it now, the low, guttural growl of the awakened entity, drawing closer with each passing moment. The terror wasn't in the physical entities that their eyes allowed them to see, but rather, it was the unseen, the obscure that twisted their psyche, feeding on their sanity. The invisible antagonist thrived in the shadows, its presence only detected through hushed whispers and echoing silences. The only telltale sign of its existence was the eerie chill of the nocturnal breeze, an invisible predator, lurking, plotting, and awaiting its time in the pitch-black void. Their sole companion became suspense, the rhythm of their pounding hearts, a chilling symphony of their escalating fear. The ethereal moonlight threaded through the skeletal fingers of the towering trees, casting elongated, threatening shadows that swayed and waltzed on the icy earth. Each crunching leaf, each disturbance in the flora was charged with an ominous energy, the harbinger of the impending terror. The shadows began to warp and distort, their terrifying forms reaching out as if ready to swallow the last vestiges of their dwindling hope. Their fate, once commanded by their own hands, was now just a brittle string manipulated by this unseen, sinister entity. It was as if their futures had been cruelly snatched, leaving them in the ruthless clutches of the unknown. Every passing second seemed to stretch out into an eternity, as they oscillated between the realm of the familiar and the terrifyingly unfamiliar. Their hearts reverberated in their chests, their breaths uneven and labored, as they grasped the horrifying reality that they were mere puppets hanging by the strings of this unseen puppet master. Trapped in this spectral stalemate, they found themselves perched on the precipice of the unknown. They peered into the abyss, their eyes straining to penetrate the dense cloak of impenetrable darkness. The wind mourned around them, its wails mirroring their dread. The world had morphed into a horrifying stage, and they, the reluctant players, thrust into a ghastly drama of survival. Each rustling leaf was a harbinger of lurking danger. Every sigh of the wind carried tales of untold terror. The feeble moonlight waged a relentless battle against the overwhelming darkness, casting a surreal glow that lit up their terror-stricken faces. Their feet seemed cemented to the ground, bodies frozen in fear. The world around them held its breath, as if anticipating the strike of the unseen fiend, and so they stood, on the brink of the abyss, their fate locked deep within the unfathomable heart of the woods. In their desperate attempt to escape, the hikers, driven by sheer terror and panic, made a fatal mistake. As they plunged deeper into the dense undergrowth, they inadvertently stepped into the heart of the unseen terror's lair. Their fate was sealed. The sinister entity, having patiently lurked in the shadows, finally revealed its horrifying form. It wasn't a creature of flesh and bone, but a malevolent force, an embodiment of pure terror. It enveloped them, their screams swallowed by the merciless night. Their frantic struggle was futile against the relentless onslaught of the unseen terror. One by one, they succumbed, their life forces snuffed out, leaving behind nothing but chilling echoes of their existence. As the last flicker of life was extinguished, the forest returned to its peaceful state. The nocturnal creatures resumed their chorus, the wind resumed its mournful sighs, and the moonlight continued its solitary vigil. The forgotten cult's rituals were completed, their sinister deity appeased. The forest had claimed another set of victims, the unseen terror triumphant once again. Their story, like many before them, was swallowed by the age-old trees, their terrified whispers carried away by the wind, their existence erased as if they were never there. Their tragic end became a part of the forest's lore, another forgotten tale of the woods. And so, the forest swallowed their screams, their story becoming another forgotten tale of the woods. The unseen terror, having fed on their fear and life, retreated back into the shadows, lying dormant until its next unwitting victims trespassed its haunting domain. The forest, an eerie testament to these chilling tales, stood silent, its secrets veiled under the cloak of the night.